Today we're going to be prepping a super salad. We spend the evening out at the studio and again in the morning go straight to the studio. So I like to prep a big salad that we can eat in the evening and then again the next day. We used to try and buy dinner from somewhere, some kind of takeaway, a healthier option in the evening, but we never feel that good after eating out actually, and we would end up eating too late and going to bed with food in our stomachs, and we never feel good or have a very good sleep after doing that. So particularly with me being on maternity leave, I'm able to prep some food during the day and we find that works way better for us. So I've been doing a version of the salad for the past couple of months, and when I say a version of, it just changes slightly every week depending on what vegetables we have in the fridge. But it's usually always got chicken, and I've already got the water on to boil there, and I'm just going to poach that for just over 10 minutes. At the moment I'm chopping up some mini cucumbers that I had in the fridge. I bought them for Mateo, so he's getting started on solids now. He unfortunately just mostly throws them on the floor, but at least he gets a little bit of chewing and the taste of it. But I've also got some red cabbage. I love red cabbage in the fridge. I love to cook it and I love to eat it raw. It's just such a nice colour to have in whatever meal you're eating. So here I am putting the chicken into the boiling water, and I set the timer on the oven. Otherwise I think I haven't cooked it enough and I usually overcook it. And then I'm back to chopping up vegetables. This time I decided to go for some cauliflower. Often I'll do raw broccoli, but we had extra cauliflower, and so that's what we're having. You see, I do chop everything very as small as possible and even grate some things like the carrot. Because we're on the go and usually eating while teaching, just the less chewing we have to do, the better. And another radish. We've been enjoying having radishes lately. So just checking on and stirring that chicken. And then I'm going to throw in the beans and chickpeas, which I strained earlier, and get back out into the garden, which is growing so fast now. So I just pick an abundance of the herbs and the rocket, spinach, that's coriander and mint that I'm picking at the moment, and I go back down and try and harvest some more parsley from the bottom garden. Mateo is just the cutest little man there, happy to hang out. He's just been the most wonderful baby. So back inside, I'm going to thoroughly wash those greens from the garden. And just seeing this video now, seeing Mateo try and reach that spoon is really cute. I was doing a thorough inspection into the water of the greens to see if there were any sort of bugs or any creatures, but I couldn't really see anything. It looked pretty clean. And while I was doing that, the chicken alarm went off, so I've just drained the water off that to let it cool a little bit and cut my greens as small as possible to go into the mix. To really make this salad filling, I add nuts and seeds, and if I've got the time, I like to toast them. It adds a nice flavour and extra crunch into the dish. Here I'm sprinkling a little bit of hemp seeds and some goji berries for sweetness in there. I've got some sesame seeds that I'll add into the pan to toast after a little while, because obviously the nuts will take a bit longer. And then a staple for me is pickles. Pickles go great in the super salad, just adds a little bit of tang. Coming back to the chicken, I would usually put this in a bowl and shred it, but today I didn't have time and I just decided to really roughly chop it, which worked really well. So it was a much faster option. I might just continue to do this. I'm actually going back to the oven all the time because I set 1 to 2 minute timers on the nuts and seeds because it's so easy to forget about them and they burn really fast. So just constantly going over to them, moving them, stirring them. And then at the same time I'm adding the dressing. I added a little bit of maple syrup for sweetness and oil and apple cider vinegar today. I realise I haven't provided any portion sizes, but that's because I don't really follow anything, as you can see. I think it's called being an instinctual cook. I just throw it all in and then I'll give it a taste and I adjust the flavours based on that. Mayonnaise is a real easy one to throw in, I find. It covers a lot of sins. But mostly just adjusting the sweetness, the sour, like the vinegar or the lemon, the oils, the fat, some salt. You can get a really nice flavour out of that. And I find the ingredients that you use, like having fresh herbs, are always going to be delicious. Having crunchy vegetables, fresh vegetables, you can't really go wrong. And just by trying it, you'll figure out what sorts of things you like more than others, and you just adjust it over time. Just doing my yummy food happy dance for Matteo there. Seems to be a bit of a tradition at the moment. But that's it. I'm just plating it up. This is actually enough food for 6 adults. Each container is 2 adults. I was making some food for some friends and they share a container. Jacob and I share a container, and then we have a container for the next day. And actually I saved a little bit for myself to have for lunch. I just fried some eggs to go with it. And then I spotted also the bag of avocado, and that's another fantastic thing I like to throw in. Because it's soft, I usually just add it on top of everyone's salad, but sometimes I do mix it in. And you can also pour a little bit of lemon juice over it to stop it from going brown. But I didn't even bother with that today, and it was perfectly fine and lasted overnight fine as well. So that's it. All in all, it took me about 30 minutes to do. I made a little bit of a mess, so I've got 15 minutes left to make a quick tidy up. But it feels great to know we're going to be well fueled for the next couple of days while we're dancing.